Good morning, this is Pramod Jaiswal from English Chronicles. Today I am going to teach you the prose Chief Seattle speech of ICSE 9th and 10th. This is my first part of this video. So just for introduction's sake, Seattle, he was the chief of his tribe. The name of his tribe is Suquamish tribe. Suquamish, Suquamish tribe. They are also called Red Indians, Native Americans. So his name was Seattle. And for years, for decades, for centuries, you can say they were spread all over the continent. They were very powerful. But gradually the white people came into power and they started diminishing. And they are at present, now they are not at present, I mean taking when the Chief Seattle speech was, Chief Seattle spoke, so they had diminished and they have become very less powerful, rather very weak in population as well as in power. So white people are overpowering, and they have written, the chief of white from Washington, they have written a letter asking this tribe to vacate the land which they have occupied, and that the chief will give a separate land somewhere else for their accommodation. And in response to this letter, Chief Seattle has responded in a letter which is in the form of a speech. It was in his own language, but it has been translated into various languages, and this one is English. There might be some differences. So this was the reason of responding the letter, and they are now, as I told you, Suquamish tribe they belong to. They are also called Native Americans. They are also called Red Indians. And in response to this letter, the speech which he had given is very ironical, is an ironical speech. It is also sweet, bitter sweet, you can say. Bitter sweet means it is also bitter. A lot of irony, sarcasm is used. And very subtly, very skillfully he has spoken this, requesting it. His first condition was that he was ready to shift to some other place on one condition. The condition is very important. He told that his next forthcoming generation will not be obstructed, rather they would be allowed to visit their homeland where their ancestors have been buried, to pay homage, to pay respect to their ancestors' tomb, and they will not be restricted either for visiting, paying respect, or over there spending hours. And as they believe that the spirits of their ancestors visit their homeland, their valleys, their tomb, their land, and they have become hallowed. There is one word, hallowed. Hallowed, Hallowed. Hallowed means visited by the spirits. And a lot of points have been discussed. So he has also discussed about the difference. How can we be brothers? The similarity in brothers when the fathers are not the same. Then how can there be difference between God and the difference in God? How can there be spirits? These are the differences which have been discussed in this chapter very minutely. So I would give a fast reading and I will try to explain you also. Yonder sky that has wept tears of compassion upon my people for centuries means sky has also showered tears of mankind compassion untold, and which to us appears changeless and eternal, may change. As time passes, it may change. Today is fair, but tomorrow we can't say. Maybe overcast with clouds. My words are like the stars that never change. That is static. Whatever Seattle says, the great chief at Washington can rely upon with as much certainty as he can upon the return of the sun. Means he says whatever Chief Seattle is replying, he has to have belief in his words, because whatever he says is fixed, is true as the stars, as the rising sun. The white chief says that the big chief at Washington sends us greetings of friendship and goodwill. But he talks about friendship and goodwill. Can you think that he can be friends? He talks about friendship. Huh? How can they be friends? There are a lot of differences among them. Friendship and goodwill. This is kind of him. For we know he has little need of our friendship. Why will they need our friendship? We are weak. We are less in power, less in number. That covers, they are like the grass. His people are many. They are like the grass that covers the vast grassland, prairies. My people are few. The great, and I presume good, white chief sends us word that he wishes to buy our land but is willing to allow us enough to live comfortably. This was the request made by Chief Seattle, and he has sent orders to the Chief Seattle by white chief, and Chief Seattle has to obey. This indeed appears just, even generous. Now, just and generous, you see there is sarcasm in this word. Just, how can he be just and generous? Just means justified. Justified and generous. Justified. And how can he be generous when he is asking his land and property to leave? So this is pure sarcasm. Just and generous, for the red man no longer has rights. Their rights has been seized, confiscated, that he need respect, and the offer may be wise. As we are no longer in need of extensive country, because we are less in number, so we don't need a vast land. That's why white chief is asking us to leave. There was a time, now Chief Seattle is talking about his old times when they were very powerful, they were in great numbers, covered the land as the waves of a wind-ruffled sea. Wind-ruffled means disturbed. The sea which is disturbed by the waves of the sea. Cover its shell-paved floor. It has been compared by the vastness of the floor of the sea. But that time long since passed away with the greatness of tribes that are now but a mournful memory. But those days of power has now diminished. Now it is only in the memory. I will not dwell on nor mourn over. I will not grieve. I will not be sad. Our untimely decay. We have diminished. Untimely means it was before the time. Nor reproach means blame. The pale-faced brothers, they are also called pale-faced. Whites are called pale-faced. Brothers. He is saying brothers. Is he brother? No. They are pale-faced brothers. With hastening it, as we too may have been somewhat to blame. We are also to be blamed. Now he says youth is impulsive. He is talking about his own youth. They are very impulsive, reactive, stimulative. and but as they are less powerful, but still they cannot forget to take revenge. When young men grow angry at some real or imaginary wrong and disfigure their faces in order to show their anger, they disfigure their faces by putting paints, black paint, in order to show their anger. With black paints, it denotes that their hearts are also black and that they are often cruel and relentless. They become brutal. Why they have to take revenge? And our old men and old women are unable to stop them, refrain them, restrain them means to stop them. Thus, it has ever been, and when they have taken revenge at the cost of even their life, they sacrifice their lives, but they believe that they are satisfied if they take revenge with the whites. But let us hope that the hostilities between us, hostilities means unfriendliness. Hostilities means unfriendliness. Unfriendliness. The hostilities between us may never return. We would have everything to lose and nothing to gain. Revenge by young men is considered gain. When they take revenge, they think that they have achieved something. Even at the cost of their own lives, they are ready to sacrifice their lives. But old men who stay at home in times of war and mothers who have sons to lose know better what they have sacrificed. So this is enough for today. If you feel that my explanation has been well, and you can share among your friends, and please subscribe to my channel so that I will again continue to give further videos on explanation. Thank you. Have a nice day.